This is the kind of stuff that dreams are made of. This is the kind of stuff. This is why they're here, to build relationships, to storytell. And I got to be a part of that. I got to make a small difference in them thinking about the way that they sit, stand, run, breathe. Makes it all worth it for me right now. Just another day. All right, let me know when you're ready. So here we are. We're driving to Purchase to do this wellness workshop. Rob Johnston in the car, behind the camera, Austin, Metzger. So we're about 15 minutes away, and I realized that this whole point of me coming today was an extension of what I experienced with my friend Sean Jones when we went on a run in Manhattan, when he first asked me to be a part of this. Oh, I'm ready too, man. Hey yo, why you getting in my story, bro? After the run was finished, we sat down in his hotel room and did our first podcast and discussed the experience. All of these bullet points that I've been trying to come up, I was like, why does this sound so familiar that I should talk about this with my friend who's running the program? Because really that podcast and that conversation that I've listened to several times covered the main points that I would want to express to these kids, and that's why he asked me to come today. So it's one of those things where it's like you're trying to figure out why something is so familiar and why something you know is going to connect, and really it's almost like you've already done this. Like I feel like the conversation I now feel like I'm going to mold today is what is going to allow me to, I think, connect with these kids, because that's why he asked me to do this. Found this photo. It's dated July 23rd, 2000. That is 18 years ago when I was finishing getting off the road with him. I was 17 in this picture. He was 23. Twice their age. More that time ago was when I first met Sean. I need to make sure that that comes through today. So that to me just like kind of really gave me grounding for this. I'm tremendously grateful for the opportunity. On the same note, I feel like I deserve to be here. The last thing he said to me before he put his arm around me in this photo was, "Hey, don't forget to shed. Because if you don't shed, I'm going to bury you in the city." And I never forgot that. I was like, dude.
What do you mean shed?
Shed means don't forget to practice. By the way, go home and practice and work on your shit and hone your craft. Because like, we got.
Saying you sound kind of? A little bit.
I don't know, maybe, but like we all have a place to grow and to go with this stuff. And he's just saying that like when you get to the real world of like New York City, you need to be prepared to go to war. musical war to like defend what you believe is the right way to perform and play.
He was younger. He was your age, okay, around your age. All right, and we went to Europe together. We did a residency in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. That was what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was about that, yeah.
About 2 weeks, and then we went to Europe for actually almost a month. All right, so he knows about this experience being young. He is one of the great trainers, consultants of our time right now. You can follow him on Instagram, see all of his wild posts. He trains a few Fortune 500 CEOs, and he's the man. Good friend, Matt Townsend. Give it up for him. All right. Yeah, man.
All right, brother. All right, well, first of all, thanks everybody for your time. I want to thank Sean for inviting me to do this. I mean, this is a tremendous honor. I've been trying to figure out where to start with all this stuff because, you know, for the past 14 years, I basically made a change into the health industry from being full-time musician. And I was really trying to figure out, like, do I do a presentation on something? Do I have you guys engage in a lot of physical things that I know would help to stimulate the creative process within your brain, and talk about like what technically will happen when dopamine is released and why you guys have an urge to want to endlessly and relentlessly practice and draw towards that addictive tendency of more. I want to be better. I want to feel more. I want to communicate more. I want all these things. You guys, I think, are here because that's probably a pretty common denominator. I think you all probably know that to some degree. You know, why do you feel like you can just straight practice for 5 hours straight? Anybody says anything to you? Doesn't matter. Like, you have these things you want to get out of your mind and your head and your playing and your obsessions, you know. So when I began to pull in the health component to this, that's when I started realizing that there was more happiness attached to that kind of addiction. And the happiness was basically saying, man, I feel really great, and I can feel my muscles strengthening in my stomach to support my sound, and now I'm starting to carry these things over into different realms that are very, very creative. I feel that you guys are going to take what you already have now to another level. So, yeah, my man.
Not to cut off your other question, but that you keep saying self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
How do you remain self-aware while you're in a group? And how does that lift the group by you being self-aware? Some people would think that being self-aware could lead to selfishness. How do they work together?
In general, I feel that the self-awareness, especially within a group setting, is more about listening and knowing how to listen. If you know you play a high note a certain way, you know you play a phrase a certain way, you run a certain way, you feel, you breathe a certain way. The more that you pay attention to those things, I think the more self-aware you are, and also the more you can pace yourself, like and playing musically as much as you can, and really kind of, are you playing that just to play over that? Or are you playing that because you're just trying to pursue a sound you hear? Where is your awareness within all of that spectrum for what you're doing and they're doing? And I don't know, I think that also, again, that pulls back to exercise. If you know what your limits are by being uncomfortable, you then become self-aware. So that when you want to apply the pressure, you are the source of pressure, not the receiver of pressure.
75 minutes. Watch back there.
75 minutes of talking about music, creativity, moving. I hope we gave him some value. I think we did.
Guy is our landlord.
Just another day.
I'm sorry.
Just another day, Mr. Metzger.